So we're gonna do my very first video here. It's gonna be my VHS collection, all that good stuff. It's only gonna be horror because obviously this channel is called Horror and More, and then we eventually move on to DVDs and Blu-rays. So yeah, let's get on it. So this is the VHS collection. This is just random stuff that I have on top here and my little Sam here. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove them so it's a nice clear presentation. Starting off, we have my Goosebumps collection, which I freaking love. My childhood. This is what got me into horror mostly. So this is Goosebumps, the Haunted Mask, and the Clamshell, of course. Classic episode. The Haunted Mask 2, I mean, it's good, but nothing beats the classic. Then we have Night of the Living Dummy 3. The first two are not on VHS, I believe. They only made certain ones on the Clamshell, which is a bummer. But I collect what I can. Welcome to Dead House. This was the first Goosebumps book ever made, as it says there, based on book number 1. I love this movie. This episode. It's all about zombies, and zombies are my favorite subgenre, so I love that. Next up we have Werewolf of Fever Swamp. I did enjoy reading the book a lot. I have been reading a lot of Goosebumps lately. This episode, to be honest, I don't remember much of it. Yeah, I don't remember much of it, but I do remember liking it, but I think I liked the book more. Next up, we have Stay Out of the Basement. I love this episode. It's one of my favorite episodes of Goosebumps. It's very creepy, eerie looking plant thing that's alive but not alive. Half plant, half man. Moving on to the actual horror. My very first VHS that I've had since I was a kid. My very first horror movie. You can see it's taken its toll throughout the years. Child's Play. Chucky is one of my favorite villains of all time. I put this clamshell case on, hoping to protect it from more tear and wear and tear, whatever. Child's Play 2. I love Child's Play 2. It has so many settings, so many emotions. You got sad, you got happy, you got like freaked out. Kills are pretty good. Oh my god, this thing is... It's just, by the way, a makeshift display case. I am looking to get an actual display where I display them all in one line, because that's what I like. I don't really like them separated like this. Anyway. Oh, why is this flipped over? Okay, Child's Play 3. I like that this takes place in a military setting. I know it gets a lot of hate for some reason. I don't know why. I think it changes things up. I like the ending. How his face gets cut in half. Why are these flipped over? Who's been messing with my movies? Anyway, Bride of Chucky. The introduction to Tiffany. Who doesn't love Bride of Chucky? It's one of my favorites in the whole franchise. Non-stop action. Freaking amazing. Now moving on to Christine, the killer car, the classic. Who doesn't love Christine? You gotta watch it. I think it was from the early 80s. Early 80s? So I don't have the original Candyman or Candyman 2. But I do have Candyman 3, Day of the Dead. To be honest, I don't remember much of this movie. I do need to give it a rewatch, and that cover is freaking cool. Okay, next up is 13 Ghosts. If you haven't seen this movie, it came out in 2001. I mean, it's considered a classic because it's a remake technically, but it's a good remake. I really want to get the collector's edition of that awesome cover that they have. Not this one. I don't really like this one. And the original Wrong Turn. I believe it also... No, 2003 this came out. The introduction to the cannibalistic trio. And now they've made like 6 movies that aren't even good. Okay, moving on here. We have Carrie. Kind of sealed. Not really. A classic Carrie. How can you not have this movie? I love it. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Again, this movie gets a lot of hate for some reason, but I grew up watching this and I love it. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. I do remember loving this more than the original. You know, Jack Black, that kill scene though. If you know, you know. Misery. It's Misery. How can you not know what Misery is? It's Misery. I heard that the book is almost exactly like the movie. I could be wrong, but that's what I heard. The original It. I've had this since I was a kid. I've had most of these since I was a kid. But some, you know, I got as a gift. Yeah, Stephen King's It. Who doesn't love that? It is very long, though. I don't like long movies. This is a very used copy of Hocus Pocus that I've had since a kid. Some people don't consider it horror, but I do because of the effects and the witches and whatnot. They are making the sequel, finally, like 22 years later. Night of the Zombies. I have not seen this movie, but I'm going to show you something really cool. It has the flap thing to open. And here it says Night of Zombies. The title says Night of the Zombies. Which one is it? I don't know. We'll never know. I have yet to see this movie, so I want to get on that. Stepfather 3. No, I'm going to start Stepfather 2. A great family film. That's not really family because you can see blood and stuff. The first one I don't have on VHS or DVD or Blu-ray. It's hard to find. Stepfather 3, however, is still pretty good. If you're a fan of Three's Company, Terry's in it. Priscilla Barnes. I love it. I actually feel like watching this. I haven't seen this in such a long time. And the last one on this shelf is kind of a compilation of all the horror villains. It's like short little films of their scene, of like their most iconic scenes. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. I'm glad I got this. And now that I bought it online, I thought it was pretty rare and pretty cool. But now I see it everywhere. I guess it's not that rare. Moving on to the last shelf here, we have the original John Carpenter's Halloween. I've had this since I was a kid as well. I grew up watching this a lot. It's my second favorite franchise. Chucky being the first, of course. I put a protector case on that as well. These 2 movies are my treasure, and I don't want anything to happen to them. Halloween 2 with the misspelled Jamie on there. I've had this since I was a kid as well. I love the scenes. I love the kill scenes. I love how creative the kills are. I dig that. I like it, despite the crappy cover. Halloween 3, I had to get this on VHS. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I love the cover. It's so orangey, crisp, eerie. Do I own it on DVD? I think I do. Yes, I do. Halloween H2O. Speaking of one of my favorite movies of all time. Halloween 20. No, Halloween H2O. This is from Blockbuster. Had this since I was a kid as well. Watched it so many times. Great movie. Halloween Resurrection. Yeah, we don't talk about that one. Psycho. Alfred Hitchcock, 1960. You already know, from Blockbuster. Great movie. Classico. Psycho 2. I love the clamshell. I love the horror sticker. I wish they all still had that on there. I have actually yet to see this movie. I do plan on doing it soon. Psycho 3. The most shocking of them all, apparently. Have not seen this movie yet. I do want to see it, of course. I want to have like a little Psycho marathon. I think there's a fourth one, I believe, out. I want to see that. I want to grab and see that one too. The original Scream, 1996. Yeah, I've had this forever. This was one of the movies that I rewatched over and over and over and over all the time, every day. But it's still not my favorite. But it is definitely up there. The new Scream was pretty good. Scream 2. I love the movie theater setting at the beginning. I like this one out of the whole franchise, actually. Scream 3. This is kind of where it dies down. But it's still good. It's still good. Jeepers Creepers, 2001. I grew up watching this all the time as well. I saw a lot of stuff I shouldn't as a kid. Freaking classic. Jeepers Creepers 2. I know this gets a lot of hate too, but I love it. I love how it takes place on a school bus, pretty much. And he just picks them off one by one. Alright guys, so that's technically the end of my VHS chesses. This looks like a VHS, but it's actually the Stranger Things season 1 that I recently picked up. It's pretty cool. It does a little bloop. And it's got the Blu-ray and DVD. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed my VHS collection. I have my little pops over here that I can't fit anyway. Like I said, we'll eventually get to the DVDs and Blu-rays. Peace.